All right. I think we are live. It's March 31, 2023. It's the Down Beach Buzz Real Estate Webcast. Now it's a sort of a Margate, Ventnor, Longport news and information with an awful lot of real estate info. And our good friends, Sherry Lilienfeld of Apex Prime and EXP Realty, and Paul Scollage of Guaranteed Rate. How you doing, guys? You ready?
Doing well. Let's get it going.
We are all set. Everyone looks fine. And of course, it's all brought to us by some of our fine sponsors like Gilchrist Restaurant. Go to gilchristrestaurant.com. We love those blueberry pancakes. 4 big locations in the area. Sherry Lilienfeld, reach out to her, Sherry at apexprime.com. She's a local girl. And Guaranteed Rate, Paul Scollage over there with an office in Brigantine, New Jersey. Go to rate.com and check out Paul Scollage for all the latest information on mortgage financing and all that financial type stuff, okay? And just in case you're in the need for a
where did that come from?
if you are in need of a pool boy this summer, we have a new pool boy service that Down Beach Buzz is going to start up, and just reach out to us go to downbeachmargatepoolboy.com.
Is that your son?
What?
No.
What's so funny?
Wait, do you really have a pool boy service?
Well, no, remember we talked about that? We might want to start that business up since, the economy's changing. We may have to hustle outside of our lanes.
Wow.
And I brought up, well, why don't we get into construction? And Sherry kept on saying, no, let's do a pool boy service.
Okay, I'm in.
Okay. Look at that big smile. Jeez. All right. So what we're really doing today, we're going to talk about some mortgage rates. Things haven't changed very much. Neither have the market stats in Longport, Margate, and Ventnor. Sherry will tell us about the inventory of homes as well as the average selling price. High-rise inspections. That's right. There's going to be deeper and more intense inspections of all multi-level homes, multi-family homes, high-rise apartments and condominiums. I want to talk a little bit about Lamberti on Amherst Avenue. That's crazy. And there's more stuff. There's rumors and innuendo and whispers down Amherst Avenue. Lots of different things going on. And a lot of them are very interesting, but we can't tell you all of them. But we'll certainly talk about Lamberti's. I'm wishing that somebody would make an announcement. Let's do something with memories. Let's do it in the memory of Jerry. And Ventnor short-term rentals. We got some updated video of how they're going to proceed in Ventnor, okay? Short-term rentals, we'll talk about, Ventnor as well as Brigantine, some crazy stories there. Paul, why don't you give us the current 30-year rate for mortgages, but you have to have great credit, right?
Yeah, these are all rates with credit in the 740 and above price point or credit score range. Rates have definitely kind of settled down some. What we've seen from the big banks over the last couple of weeks has really helped slow down this Fed increase. Last Wednesday, the Fed announced that they had their quarter-point hike. Personally, I think that's probably the last hike that we will see, and it really kind of had a reverse reaction on the market where we're finally starting to see some consistency in rates. We're not seeing that fluctuation when you're in the low 7s to like the low 6s, which is what we've seen over the last 4 or 5 months. I think we finally settled down when the rates are comfortably in the low 6 price point, anywhere between 6 and 6.25, depending upon product in terms of what program you're doing, as well as credit score. Condos also have a different impact on interest rates, but overall, we're finally starting to see things settle down, which is good. Hopefully, it sets us up for a strong spring market. Is what we're typically going to see. But overall, I think we're finally seeing some consistency in the market as we move forward.
And if people want to reach out to you for just a discussion, or maybe they want to pre-qualify, whatever, how do they reach out to you?
You got my phone number there. If not, you can go to paul.scollage@rate.com. Nice and easy.
All right. And somebody who's tough as nails, but as sweet as pie, she's Sherry Lilienfeld. You like that? Is that a good intro?
Oh, you were talking about Tilly for a second.
Well, Tilly is the mascot of EXP Realty and Sherry Lilienfeld of Apex Prime. And we love Tilly. Very, very cute lady. The market stats, Sherry. So what's going on with the Margate, Ventnor, and Longport? Let's just really focus on maybe Ventnor inventory right now.
Yeah. So as you know, I always do. I do the inventory, the average sale price and then what has closed in the last 30 days, because that's really telling you what's moving. So when the February number that was there, that was really for the month of January, because we did that February 2nd and we were looking at January. The March number was February, and today we're doing the whole month of March. And as you can see, the Ventnor inventory is coming down. It doesn't seem like a lot, but when you take it over, it's like a 20% decrease. So things are moving in Ventnor. So let's look at what's happening with the average sale price in Ventnor.
Easy.
The average sale price just keeps on going up. Again, that's because what we have is new construction. And a lot of these properties are closer to the beach, like the Ventnor on the high side. The highest price listed is 107 South Cambridge, and it's $3.999, $4 million. And so, when you only have 40 properties and you average it, taking an average price can be a little skewed. The median price is 1.2, but still a high number. Yes.
Miss Lilienfeld, may I speak?
Yes.
Yes. What about time on market? Is that a issue like it was last year? How many days and weeks and months a property lingers on the market?
Well, when you're looking at new construction, those numbers are going to be longer just because they put it out on the market sometimes before it's even built. And a lot of people, they don't like to buy a house till they can at least walk through it. So I don't really look at those times on the market because I just feel, one, you have only 40 properties to look at, and two, it's a lot of new construction. Most of it's over, at least half of it's over $1 million, but going up to, 4 million. Anyway, it's a good question. It's just you need more of a stable market, where there's more of a mix of inventory, not just mostly new construction.
Yeah, I knew that was a tough question. It didn't really have a lot of different updates, but I just wanted to zoom in on you and have a full screen of you speaking in a while.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So this is what's been under contract in the last 30 days in Ventnor. Again, the February really reflects January because it was done February 2nd. The March reflects February, and now in March, you get more properties moving, which is great. So that's why the inventory is down, because properties are moving. But I have a very interesting statistic about that. What do you think the average price is of the properties that went under contract in the last 50 days? I'm sorry, the last 30 days.
Do not know that.
Is that similar to what we saw as the average sale price? 1.3?
No, it is 627,000.
Half the cost.
It's half. When I looked at them, like, wow, like that surprised me. But then again, I'm always saying, like, we need more homes in that price range that people can buy. Some of it might be tear downs, but again, it's half of it. So I just thought that was interesting part of the whole picture, like what is selling and what's going under contract. And it's the homes that are more affordable, so to speak. I mean, there is one that was $2 million. That was 2C North Melbourne Avenue. There used to be a church there. It's on Melbourne and Ventnor Avenue. There was a church and it was knocked down, and there's like 5 or 6 new homes going there.
I wonder if the pool boys bought one of those houses. I wonder,
Well,
right,
I'll have to just ride my bike there.
have to check.
I have to check.
All right, we got. All right, ladies and gentlemen,
All right,
Margate
sorry.
inventory, please. Yes.
So okay, class, let's go. Okay. So the Margate inventory is up, right? So we have 70 homes now up, and it was pretty constant from the beginning of the year for 63. So we have more of an inventory. So when we look at the average price, which is the next slide,
Jesus.
again, pretty stable, 2.2 million. But then so the pricing's pretty stable. But when we look at what went under contract in the last 30 days, less is going under market, under contract. So we have less, and that average price is 1.2 million.
So over time, everything's skewing to the more expensive housing, and a lot of it is new construction. So it's a different building and real estate environment that we haven't seen in a while.
Well, I mean, we have never seen this with all this. Like the whole inventory, pretty much, is new construction.
Yeah.
And again, it reinforces that point. Like, there's only so many people that are going to buy that new construction. There's still a lot of buyers out there looking for something less. I have a test question for you guys. I don't normally talk about Longport, and there's a reason for it. How many homes do you know or feel are on the market in Longport right now?
60 or 70.
I'll take a guess. 5.
Oh my God, that's perfect. Yes, good job.
Well done, Matt. Good job.
Really? Was that right?
There's 5, right? Last month there were 6. Okay, so one went under contract, but I don't talk about it because you can't come up. I mean, when you have 5 houses, you can't have anything statistically even close to being statistically significant. It's just.
So are you saying getting comps for a Longport property is a little more challenging, maybe?
Well, just coming up with an average. You have 5 properties, okay, and you're trying to do an average. It's not meaningful at all. Days on market, but yeah. So there, the average days on the market 74. There, you're not really seeing as much new construction. All the homes are existing. The highest one.
Yeah, most of the homes have been built in probably the past 5, 10, 15 years.
Not necessarily, but
beach block, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, so the highest one on the market is 4 million. I actually did tour that property. It's a nice property. It gets nice sunset views. But anyway,
do you know what the average cost is to hire a pool boy for a Longport property?
Oh my God.
You're focused. There we go. There he is.
Oh my God. You really need to stop. I don't.
But it is popular to hire pool boys, though.
It sure is.
Paul, you and I got in the wrong business.
We sure did. We should start our own business here. Pool boy special.
Down Beach Pool Boy. I got it. DownbeachPoolboy.com. Sherry, get that domain.
I think pool boys are more common like Florida and places like that. This guy looks like he's in California looking at those mountains.
The background looks.
Yeah.
That's the opportunity. Now's the time. DownbeachPoolboy.com.
Perfect.
You want
someone's domain, man? You go for it.
Someone's going to buy it and say, "Let's screw with Sherry and that idiot."
Who? Paul? That's real nice.
Oh my gosh!
All right, let's move. Just stop, everybody.
All right. Well,
let's be serious about.
Oh, here we go. Stir the pot, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's all we do. That's why we do all this work. So. We did this. A lot of construction going on here. There's new development here. We talked about that.
Oh, well, that picture is way old.
Yeah, that's the original photograph. Yeah, I have some new images, but I don't want to get too far off track, guys.
Okay. Well, can I just say, you drive down Ventnor Avenue, it looks very different in that part of town, the south part of Margate. Very different.
Yeah, you got that right. So what is next? High-rise inspection. What do you want to do first? High-rise inspections. You want to do that?
Go for it.
That's exciting. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants to hear about that because that's kind of scary. Because I love high rises, but there are some issues that we have to, on occasion, deal with. So we'll sign in here. I got to learn how to use this internet thing. It really is very confusing to me.
The thing is deferred maintenance in general.
Yeah.
Like it comes back. Like you can't defer it. Inevitably, you're going to have to pay. And unfortunately, sometimes the price is way, way higher if you neglect it too long.
It's going to come in, the what do they call it? The
assessments.
They're coming back. Yeah, the chickens are coming home to roost. So Down Beach residents watching closely. Greater scrutiny coming for high-rise condos and multi-family properties. New safety legislation being considered right now, and it's taken the past 2 years, they're diddling around with it. But new safety legislation now being considered, a bill going through the different levels of assembly and the Senate and whatever. And it's all prompted by that 2021 condo collapse in Florida that killed 12 people. Of course, last year, the Ocean Club condos in Atlantic City on the boardwalk, it's a 34-story condo complex. They restricted balconies, the use of their balconies, after engineering consultants discovered loose and cracking concrete, unsafe railings. Of course, not too long ago, Sea Isle City, the Spinnaker, one of the 8th floor balconies fell on a worker trying to fix one of the balconies. That was incredibly sad. So this is what they're working on right now. Under the new bill, inspectors would assess the building strength greater and a more higher frequency of inspections within the Uniform Construction Code, deeper dives into structure safety, deeper building inspections, more frequent inspections, and a widening of the focus of inspections under Uniform Construction Code. Something tells me that we kind of let this slide for a while. There's so much building that we kind of let inspections slide just a tad. I'm not pointing fingers, but it's one of the ramifications of having so much new development that you kind of tough to keep up with everything. And when you're down by the shore of the ocean, the salt water, the salt air, and the wind, it's going to really do a number on concrete, especially exterior concrete. Under consideration, real quick, Paul, require certain covered buildings and plans be inspected and reviewed by a structural inspector during the pre-construction, construction, and post-construction. So it's crazy, Paul. What do you think?
Yeah, it's also having a major impact on getting financing because of what happened. Both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have really tightened up their guidelines and procedures on allowing financing in these buildings. That deferred maintenance is one of the major causes of the issues. What happens too is if you have a certain amount of homeowners behind on their HOA fee, that impacts the reserve budget. That also then impacts them to be able to do any maintenance in the building. So it's something that's going to get more difficult as we move forward to be able to get financing in these standard high rise and even smaller condos. So, stay tuned, because I think it's only going to get worse.
A condo complex who told residents to stay off their balconies is now taking an additional step to make sure no one steps outside. News 12 New Jersey's Erica Such is in Atlantic City with the details.
But I use mine regularly in the summer, so hopefully it won't be too long.
Starting today, balcony doors at Ocean Club condominiums in Atlantic City will be screwed shut. Residents receiving this letter from the Board of Trustees after earlier this month being told there were structural concerns with their balconies.
Let's keep in mind they're working on that now. This is an older video, but I just saw this from March of 2022. Give you some example. And of course, the Spinnaker in Sea Isle City. If you want to see some of these videos, go up to DownbeachBUZZ.com. And of course, just a couple of weeks ago, we reported on how Margate is requesting high-rise condo safety inspection. So Margate's jumping ahead.
Jim. Good afternoon, Mayor. Good afternoon, everyone. You just got the final report from the high-rises located at the Island House, Margate Towers, 9600. I sent a letter out to all the high-rises requesting them to do a severe and complete structural analysis of their building to determine if they're safe for the occupants of the building.
So we'll go from there. And then any other thoughts on that, Sherry? What's it like? Are you finding that when you're showing housing or getting requests or people calling you, is this topic coming up at all with your clients?
Well, they always ask now, as I should have always asked, like, what are the assessments? But they're asking to see like the actual engineering report, like before someone makes an offer. They want to see the reports, let alone whether there's an assessment or not. So I do feel that the agents are being more diligent, in helping their clients make more informed decisions.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I do want to say it's not just at shore communities, not just Florida and Jersey Shore. I mean, my daughter lives in a building in Arlington, Virginia, and they locked up all the the balconies too there. I mean, it's everywhere. It's across the country. Just what happened in Florida woke up everybody else.
I mean, it's here in PA as well. We have several different high-rise condos that are facing the same guidelines and the procedure. So it's not just a second home or secondhand market. It's just everywhere in the country.
And like we talked about a few weeks ago, even individual homes, single homes, single residential homes that are being used on Airbnb. I've seen some balconies with spalling and exposed rebar. So we're not just talking about condos. We're talking about individual homes as well that have multi-levels and multi-level balconies. You got to be careful of anything you rent because the absentee landlord may or may not be, up to date on the safety of those structures.
I do have a comment on that as well. So now when you rent and you get a certificate of occupancy in the state of New Jersey, you're supposed to supply your liability insurance policy that it's current, and you have a minimum of $500,000 liability insurance. So, I mean, does it help? Like after the accident? Well, okay, so there's insurance, but you do want to prevent things from happening. But at least the state is being more strict about at least that if you're going to rent out your property, you're going to have the proper insurance coverage if there is an accident.
This is not the first time I've showed this photograph, although I'm hiding the location or the address, but people might be able to figure it out. But this picture is about 6 months old. I walked past this house again a couple of days ago, and it's an Airbnb house. I mean, just it's still like that. And I'm not pointing fingers at anybody, but what I am suggesting, I have a feeling things are so busy that inspectors and enforcement officers can't keep up with everything. But especially if you have a quote unquote absentee landlord, this is an Airbnb property. So be careful of where you're renting, no matter where you rent or from whom you rent. You should hopefully whoever is taking your check or your money is giving you a property that has is not exposing something like this. But this is a real photograph property, an Airbnb property in the Down Beach area.
You can always make a call to code enforcement.
And people have to kind of,
they don't know. They're not driving around.
They kind of have to rat each other out if there's something really a safety issue. But, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Because, Paul, it's all about this, right?
That's exactly right. Let's get it going. Come on.
Jeez.
I guess the only thing I will say to that is, would you rather something happen and then say, wow, I really should have called? I mean, you're not really ratting them out. You're really trying to protect people. And you have to look at it like that.
It takes something negative to happen for people to react, typically.
All right, Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty and Paul Skolich of GuaranteedRate.com. It's the Down Beach Buzz Real Estate Webcast, but we're broadening our horizons, giving you more information about what it's like to be in the Down Beach area, Absecon Island. We even venture over in the Brigantine. We love Brigantine. We like portions of Atlantic City, like Lower Chelsea and the inlet area. We love it. And another interesting topic, short-term rentals. So it looks like Ventnor is very close to moving to a 2-night minimum for short-term rentals. Even Brigantine being rumored that they finally might go to a two-night minimum for short-term rentals. Here's a quick video from a few nights ago. Ventnor commissioners with Lance Landgraf talking about what they're considering. They're still going to have some public comment on this. But this was from March 23. They are discussing a potential short-term 2-night minimum discussion. Let's watch a few minutes of that clip here on Down Beach Buzz.
In preparation of these changes, the highlights of those changes are we will be going to a 2-night minimum. Each applicant or each operator will have to come in and get a mercantile license. And that mercantile license or the documentation or the information on that license will have to be shown on the property. And that's a question I have, Mark. It just says shown somewhere near the entrance.
Correct.
Outside?
Can be inside.
Because my only thought was part of the reason for that was to have contact information on the outside for either a neighbor or police coming to the property of an owner who to contact there. Chief, does that help you if that's on the outside of the building? I mean, you would already know that, I think, because you can get the mercantile from.
Yeah, we would have a list. We have a privacy issue.
Putting it on the outside. Okay.
That's what I was worried about.
Okay, that's why I asked the question. So So it just has to be somewhere in and around near the entrance. Okay. So if someone does an inspection or PD's there, they can say, all right, here's this placard. You're allowed to have 10 people here. You got 50.
Yes.
Okay. So that'll be on, not on the outside, but somewhere near the entrance. Inspections will be required within 30 days of the mercantile license. If an operator is not local, they will have to designate a local person to be the responsible party to be available 24/7 if there's an issue with the property.
Right.
So that is something else we're adding. We also reemphasize that parking, noise, and trash must comply with our current ordinance standards on all these properties. So that'll be introduced tonight, and our next meeting we'll have a public hearing on it. Any questions on that?
No, I agree. I think
So there you go. That's Ventnor stiffening up the laws or the rules. Some people say 2-night minimum is not enough. You're still going to get crazy weekend parties. But Ventnor, what they are doing is they are identifying these homes, putting placards or some kind of a sticker in front of the property with all the contact information. So they're identifying that it's a rental, but could there be some downside to that? I guess we're going to find out, but they're trying to identify these are rentals. There is some downside to that, Paul. I'm thinking, right? Because you're identifying that this house is not owner occupied.
You're exposing it. You're exposing it to the public. This is not a primary residence or owner occupied. I mean, you're just setting yourself up, in my opinion, for potential challenges.
Well, Paul, this is the segment called
Stir It Up. Come on.
We're not trying to do that, but we're just trying to think outside the box here, right? But do you want to have a more brighter, upbeat video to tell you about the benefits of short-term rentals? We want to go over to that beautiful town of Brigantine, New Jersey. I love Brigantine. It really is awesome. And people have the wrong impression of Brigantine. There's Vince Serra right there. He's the mayor of Brigantine, New Jersey. And they had some issues with a party house, some gunfire back in February of 2021 or somewhere early 2021. And this is the meeting where people are just fed up saying, please do something about these party houses. Let's watch a few minutes of this Brigantine video where the residents are begging the mayor to do something about the dangerous parties happening in these Airbnb homes. Let's watch. Okay.
And I warn my wife, our neighbors, that something bad is going to happen if it doesn't get handled sooner rather than later. And here we are, gunfire and 2 people shot in the middle of our street.
First of all, I don't want to have to sell this place. It is paradise. We love Brigantine. You know, we love it. I really don't want to get shot during my sleep.
And I'm fed up. Okay. I'm one of their neighbors. I live on the street. They stand behind my car and piss on the street, piss on my pavement.
Over the summer, we've had lots of public health and safety issues with this building, with large parties, COVID type parties, people parking in our parking garage, creating a really dangerous hazard for our residents.
For many years, we didn't have a problem with this house, but as you can hear, there's a lot of frustration with all of us around what's going on.
My name is Jonathan Mathers. I live at 1301 East Brigantine Avenue. We have a nuisance rental property that specializes in one-night stays located directly behind our condominium complex. As with Mike, we can look right into the living room and see all the action that's happening. It's presented our neighborhood with constant issues, including numerous late-night noise violations, 50-plus person parties with security guards out front during a pandemic, parties with DJs charging covers at the door, and most recently, a backdrop for a music video.
That is crazy.
Wow.
A doorman charging to get in. That was happening. And this is actually the property right here.
Let's take a look at it.
It's this guy. It's not really one of those houses where you bring the family down. This looks like a party house. Maybe, but that's the house that they had trouble selling, or maybe they made more money doing one night only. And I can tell you this, that this is the condo that got shot into by accident. And as you can see, there's a pool in the living room of this place. Now, Sherry, do you know if a pool boy would report here? Would that be a part of an Airbnb?
Oh
it
my
should
God.
be. Come on.
Yes, definitely.
How many people jump off of the upstairs into
Oh my
that
gosh.
pool?
This looks.
Oh man.
There's live DJs. There's gunplay, and it really comes down to Brigantine knows this is happening. And Paul, if you don't mind.
Stir it up. Wow.
I would suggest that there are people that have money and a lot of financial push to encourage city council and the mayor to not, put too many restrictions on these investment properties from absentee owners. So I think that's why Ventnor has dragged their feet. Brigantine has dragged their feet. But Margate has a minimum of a 1 week minimum. Some people want Margate to have even a 1 month minimum, at least. Some people complain even about a 1 week minimum. Is that true, Sherry Lilienfeld of EXP Realty?
The people that live near those homes definitely complain. Other than that, I don't really hear a lot of complaints, but look at other shore communities, Ocean City, Avalon, Stone Harbor. They do weekly rentals. Now, the difference is they were doing them before Airbnb and VRBO. Like, you had professionals managing those rentals. They were local. They were responsible. They had a lease. You do Airbnb, they just book online, they pay their money. So it's very different. You can do weekly rentals or short-term rentals, but I love the idea that Ventnor is asking for a local person, because I think that's very important, that there's someone local and accountable. But yeah, so in Margate, I don't hear a lot of complaints, only from people who live near some of those houses. Of course, they're going to complain. They see different people every week. But we're in a short community, so that is part of, we have a short season, and that's part of it. And like I said, other communities do this successfully.
Have you ever considered charging a cover for people to come into your backyard and use your pool?
That would be
They have to bring alcohol. They bring their alcohol, they share it. That's the cover.
Okay. It's a new cover. I like that.
That's downbeachpoolboy.com. That's downbeachpoolboy.com. And by the time we get done our webcast, that domain will be stolen by someone.
100% for sure.
I'm looking as we speak.
Grab that for $12.
Yeah.
$12.
So back to this Brigantine thing, because this was February 2021.
Yeah.
So what evolved from this? Did they crack down? Like, clearly they violated the occupancy of this building, right? So if they were having big parties, 50 people, all these people, that house is not big enough for that, even though it's a nice size house. So what they do? Is it still a party house?
So it's been 2 years and they have not changed the rules. If anything, they do have some kind of a nuisance ordinance, but it's all about enforcement.
Noise.
But they don't have anything on the books that says you have to rent for a minimum of 2 nights or 3 nights. I'm starting to think that 3 nights should be the minimum, because 2 nights is still a great party weekend. But at the very least, a 1 night only, it's most likely, and if it's a big place, it's probably a reunion of sorts, or maybe a big giant industry convention of pool boys.
Yeah, there you go. They're there.
I'm just really thinking through this, though. I mean, if people are complaining and the cops are showing up, can't they stop the party?
Well, they can stop the party, but I don't think they're addressing what's the cause of the party. The cause is that short-term rental. I think it.
I'm not sure.
Actually, I want to drive by that house here tomorrow over the weekend and take a look at it. I like it.
I mean, I'm sure they're making a lot of money, but honestly, what you said, Paul, about someone diving from the top to the pool, all I can think about is liability as a landlord. And would I want a crazy party in that house? Absolutely not. Like, wow.
Yep.
Paul, I have to get some kind of a jingle or a sounder.
Okay.
Lambert.
A big bong. Boom.
A bong?
I don't mean the one you smoke out of.
Oh, geez.
I didn't know. What are you talking about?
The ones you hit with the big pallet.
Wait, what? You're taking a hit off of it? What? You're taking?
Never mind. You're.
Mine's in the gutter.
There's pool boys and cannabis discussion. This is a real estate webcast.
It's CBD. Here we go.
Well, cannabis is a very important discussion when it comes to real estate, because lots of people want to grow it, retail it. So
And when
we're on target.
Margate always uses the term CBD, but their version of CBD is Central Business District. I don't know if they realize that. Every time I see that, I go, "Is Roger McLarnon pushing for a cannabis zone?" My man.
All right.
Anyway, yeah, I have a bromance with him, although he doesn't know about it. Okay, here is Lamberti's, and it's still not open yet. And this picture was taken on March 18th of 2023. And it seems here that Margate Commissioner John Amadeo says the wheelchair ramp next to Lamberti's, it has to be redesigned, moved, and be ADA compliant. There's a lot of weird stuff with this property because I get the sense that the city keeps on handing over, or my favorite word is called conveying. I would like to be the guy that owns this property because he has a pretty sweet deal, and good for him. But we do want this thing to be open. We want it to thrive, but it does seem to be an issue, and nobody knew it was going to be the Great Wall of China with all types of other things that kind of get in the way. And is there stuff on our property, the public property? Is it private property? Did you fix the bulkhead yet? All kinds of nutty stuff. So, let's listen to a couple of. Remember, this is what it was supposed to look like. Everybody was pumped up about it, but we didn't design this rendering with an 8-foot, 9-foot rise to reach the proper elevation for insurance purposes. So that was kind of a bummer because everybody was into this version, but it's much, much larger due to flood elevation levels being mandatory. Where are we? Here's a quick little clip here.
As you know, the Lamberti's is coming along pretty well. I went by there today. I saw, I believe, 4 electrical trucks. So we have to resolve the issue for the handicap ramp and for an electrical panel. Now, our team has been working with them, trying to assist them. We have a handicap ramp with the correct slopage that goes into off the Longport side. Well, that area wasn't conveyed to them. So they're designed by Bob Green. Looks like they still maintain their parking spaces, but they want to have either an easement or a license. I saw your communication where you recommended easement. It could be a license. It could be an easement. I've just given you the initial draft. And what I did is I sent an email letter to Bob Green, I believe Art Ponzio, because he's got the surveyor's license. And then, of course, all of you and the lawyers. There's different lawyers involved. And said, guys, here are the issues you need to address. We need to get a license or easement for that ramp. What Bob Green gave me is insufficient. In fact, some of it they own where that ramp is.
Something tells me that John Scott Abbott is not happy with this Mr. Green gentleman.
Not at all.
I don't know who he is, but he's the adult in the room, Mr. John Scott Abbott, the solicitor of the great city of Margate. And there are some commissioners that maybe, weren't as strict as Mr. Abbott would like them to be. I'll just keep it at that, okay? If you want to listen to it and read more, go to DownbeachBUZZ.com for the Lamberti on Amherst Avenue project. Speaking of Amherst Avenue, Sherry Lilienfeld of eXp Realty, recently back from a world tour climbing trees and swinging from vines and
celebrity status.
I don't know what the hell she was doing, but
she's back.
I was exploring a beautiful country, the beautiful country of Guatemala.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me ask you a few questions. We have Sherry Lilienfeld. You know pretty much everything about everything. What are they going to do with Jerry Blavat's Memories on Margate? I know it's not official, but what do you think might happen?
Someone's going to buy it and develop it. That's what I think is going to happen. It's a great location, and
let's buy it.
Buy it. Can we start a fund?
A GoFundMe?
Not a GoFundMe, a crowdfunding.
There you go.
Crowdfunding to get it going. So that's my guess. I mean, oh, by the way, this morning, so you're talking about Amherst Avenue. I drove down Amherst Avenue, the donut place. Why am I drawing a blank here? It's already like being stripped down. So all that whole thing is being developed where Sprinkles was, and
that's right. Yeah.
So that already is, if you drive by there, you'll see that there's already work going on. There were contractors in front and is being stripped down.
So you're saying juniors?
Oh, juniors, yes.
All of that is gone. I haven't been down there recently. Yeah.
It's not gone. It is starting to be gone. Like they start stripping down the building. Yeah. So there's lots of work going on juniors and sprinkles, that asset. Tomatoes. I know there's been rumors that it's been sold and closing or whatever. It's not closing. It was bought by the kids who are going to take it over. So we'll still know tomatoes, as we've all grown to love over the years.
But Sherry, I asked you the question and you skirted the answer.
About Jerry Blavitt's place? Okay. Wait, are you there?
He said that we've been doing this for 44 years. I've been doing this for 63 years. And I said, Cardi, you don't make TikTok all this. No, correct, time, big boys with me.
There you go.
I missed that guy already, man.
No one could do what he did.
I always loved dancing with girl on a big floor underneath a big giant crucifix. There's always something about that.
I noticed that.
This is St. James. This is one of the last gigs that the Gator did, and he did it in Ventnor. Man, he just was killer, and he got sick and he went down pretty fast, man. So that's why I'm hoping that somebody will do one more season with the Gator at Memories. Just figure out a way of as a tribute all summer. Just a thought.
Does he have kids?
Yeah, he had two kids. Yeah. I think 2 kids and a girlfriend that nobody really knew much, but he was always working, and we're going to miss him. We're going to miss him this summer the most, I think, right, Sharon?
It's the first summer, right?
Yeah. I mean, and even the younger kids would
Me.
go there. Like they'd come out of Maynard's and even they enjoyed it. It was multi-generational enjoyment.
Yeah, it's nuts, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So did we cover everything? And we talked about tomatoes and Dunn. What about that Dunn thing where they were talking about that Dunn is done as a business? That may or may not be true, but who knows?
I think it's going to stay intact, is what I'm being told.
How about that? Okay.
It'll still be, it probably, from what we heard, is probably still be a similar business, just a different name, but do more expanded catering
stuff.
Yeah.
All right. So guys, that's a good webcast. Any more before we say goodbye or what?
Yes, because you know what's near and dear to me are the races that go on in Atlantic City. So this weekend is the April Fool's Run. It's April 1st and April 2nd. I will be running the 8K, which is 5 miles, which is tomorrow.
Nice.
Yeah, that's my limit.
In the rain?
In the rain. You know what? When you make a commitment, you got to show up. So yes, in the rain, I'll just wear different attire, a little whatever, raincoat. But and then April 2nd, which is Sunday, is the longer run, the marathon. So if you're not running, please come out and cheer the runners, because it really means a lot, especially not me for the 5 miles, but the ones doing the long distances. It gets long. It's long, and it's good to be cheered on every so often. So it starts at 8 a.m. Go to Atlantic City Boardwalk. You'll see it all marked off. And I believe it's starting at resorts. So yeah, just go.
All the best. Good luck tomorrow.
And if somebody wants to buy, rent, sell, they should contact you or join the race and run along with you to try to pick your brain on how to sell their home, right? Stay
close to her so you can keep up.
As I hobble along, I have not trained at all. I can't remember the last. I haven't run this year at all, but I just do it for the fun and the excitement, and it's a great event, and it brings a lot of energy and excitement to the city.
And you can reach out to Sherry at apexprime.com. And she's from EXP Realty. And Paul Scolich, how can people find you, Paul? And why would somebody want to reach out to you, Paul?
I'd love to get someone to reach out for a potential refinance as we see the rates dip down, or if you're looking to get a pre-approval. You can reach me at paul.scollage@rate.com.
Where you can buy the home but date the rate. Is that the way that works?
Marry the house and date the rate. That's the slogan.
I almost.
You got it. That's okay.
All right.
Let's stir it up.
All right, and don't forget.
Paul's team works on the weekends, and so does Mr. Pool Boy.
There he is. He is the best. The weekend warrior.
Because listen, Sherry, if you're selling high-end homes, people are going to have interest in having you tell them about Viking ranges and different types of marble to use in their homes, and elevators and gold-plated toilet seats and pools that come complete with a pool boy, right?
I will say every house, even if there's a small yard, there's a pool. All the new construction, it amazes me the size of the pool they can get in. I mean, it's not very huge, but there is a pool in every new construction.
I know of a woman that didn't have a built-in pool like you did. She had a blow-up pool, and she still hired a pool boy.
Yes, she did. And she
was very happy with that investment.
What?
The pool boy or the blow-up?
It was the best summer of my life.
The pool boy or the blow-up?
It was the best. It was the best summer of my life. You just stepped on my joke. All right.
That's a wrap.
All right, Sherry.
Thank you.
I think we got through this without getting too much trouble. All right, guys, we'll talk to you. We're going to try to do it every Thursday. We had to move it to Friday because of Sherry was traveling internationally. She's an embassy executive trying to keep us out of World War III.
World renowned.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, we're going to try to do every Thursday at 11 o'clock because that gives us a chance. As everybody's coming down the shore for the long weekend, they can tune into the live webcast at Thursdays at 11 o'clock, the DownbeachBUZZ Real Estate Webcast. And thanks, Sherry Lilienfeld and Paul Scollage of Guaranteed Rate. We'll talk to you guys in a couple of we'll talk to you guys soon. How's that?
I love it.
Bye.